David Goggins posted a 48-hour challenge, which is run 4 miles every 4 hours, totaling up to 48 miles. That's 12 sessions. I'm doing it to harden up the mind in a dimension that I don't usually challenge myself. It's cold outside, below freezing. It's icy and wet. It's windy. I actually tried to record this intro outside. I had to come back in because it was too windy for the audio, or I don't know what I'm doing. In general, I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't try to think about this too much, just said do it. I said I was going to do it. I'm going to do it. You might be wondering, I'm wondering how long I'm actually going to last. You're going to have to watch to the end to find out. I might swap out a Jiu Jitsu training session for one of the running sessions. I also decided to do an exercise of gratitude, almost like a thought experiment. I wrote down 12 things I'm grateful for, one for each session, to think about when I run, and to talk about when I come back from the run. I thought this would be a nice challenge, a nice way to strip away all the literal and metaphorical fat from the mind, all the distractions, all the busyness that fills up the day, to really purely zoom in on the things that make life worthwhile, to be thankful for them and to push the mind to its limits to see, to see that I still got it. Still a tough guy in a way that I don't usually these days test myself. I usually test myself in the realm of intellectual work. I don't as much test myself in the realm of physical work. So let's see if I still got it. Cold, wet, windy, in the night, still rushing, still tough. Let's see. Let's see how long I last. Watch to the end to find out. All right, let's go. All right, 4 miles down, 40 to go, plus a jiu-jitsu session. That was easy, but I can tell it's going to get tough. So like I said, I made a list of 12 things that I'm grateful for, one per session. The first thing I'd like to show my gratitude for is to go all the way back to the beginning, is to my childhood, to my family in Russia, and to my grandmother, who was a really big, important person in my life, early in my life and throughout my memories. The love, the kindness, the toughness, and also just the piercing, simple, minimalist intelligence that she gifted me or showed me the importance of. But of course, the love, just the care. And I miss her deeply. I miss the bigger family very much. So many of my formidable experiences were there. So much of the soul of my love of literature, of my love of knowledge, of my love of pushing your mind to the limit of understanding and curiosity about the human mind. So much of it was born there. Whether it's in the early days of friendship with my close friend Yura, who showed me the deep value of friendship. I think I understood what it means, the brotherhood that makes, in the companionship that with which life becomes somehow more fulfilling when you get to share it with somebody else. That kind of love, that kind of friendship was revealed to me early on as profoundly important and fulfilling in life. So, and the Russian culture, at least at that time, at least in the context of my family, we didn't have many material possessions, but that didn't matter. It was all about the relationship, about the friendships, the music, the soul of the people that I loved, and it implanted in me again the love, the brotherhood, the connection with other human beings that's so profoundly fulfilling in life. All right, I'll try to talk less, try to run more. I'm gonna have to try to figure out the whole clothing and the shower situation. That's something I didn't anticipate with 12 sessions. I guess for most of them, I'm gonna have to jump in the shower and change clothes. So I'm gonna maybe have to do a little bit of laundry. Okay, 11 to go. Let's do this. All right, that was 3 a.m., 8 miles down, 36 miles to go, and one jiu-jitsu grappling session. That was a little bit wet, a little bit cold, but we'll be all right. The body feels good, the mind feels good. We'll do all right. This is kind of fun. Like I said, I'm making a list of things I'm grateful for. The second thing is, of course, my family, my dad, my mom, my brother. It's been ups and downs and tension like all families have, but really to focus in on the most important thing is there's been a lot of gifts that they've given me each. My dad's really given me nothing. No, I'm just kidding. My dad's given me the love of knowledge of physics and science, especially the rigorous of mathematics, and also the love of music and poetry and wit, of revealing, of seeing the absurdity in things that otherwise might seem painful, that might be stressful. Seeing the humor in all of it. That's a little bit of the Jew, a little bit of the Russian in him. My mom has taught me what it means to be, what it means to love, of course, but also what it means to express emotion. I mean, she's a vibrant, beautiful personality and human being, and I certainly have inherited a little bit of that in terms of temper, in terms of emotion, in terms of deeply feeling, experiencing things. And my brother's I mean, I hope I inherited something from my brother because he's an incredible human being. He's fun, he's fascinating, he's brilliant. He's in many ways opposite than me in terms of how much rich, interesting personality he has. And I've always looked up to him growing up. I always wanted to be like him. I still want to be like him. So I'm really grateful for the family I have, and for the tough times, and for the beautiful times. So all right, here we go. Let's try to get some sleep. Let's get in the shower. We're almost there. Only 10 more sessions to go. Let's do this. See you at 7 a.m. Okay, that was 12 miles down. A lot more to go. Feeling good. It's been a while since I've been up at 7 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday, but it feels good. It feels like I'm getting in front of the day because nobody else is out. It just feels productive. I'm looking forward to hopping in the shower and getting some work done before the 11 a.m. run and then the Jiu Jitsu session. So, some people are asking me what I'm eating. I didn't plan any of this, so I'm eating what I usually eat, which is meat. I mostly eat meat these days. And we all make mistakes. And one of mine is to eat like I usually do, which is one larger meal. I ate after the 3 a.m. run, and that turned out not to be a good idea because I just feel just really heavy and full, which is not a good feeling when you're running. Okay, so in terms of things I'm grateful for, is I often joke around about being Russian, and it's true. The culture, the music, the poetry, the science of the people is in there in my blood and my roots and my family. But I am at this point, I'm a red-blooded American. I love this country. This country giving me everything I have, the opportunities, the ability to do what I do, the ability to challenge myself to create things I want to create. It's an incredible country, an incredible country that welcomes immigrants with open arms for the most part. People like me, silly Russian kids like me with a dream. It opens its arms and puts it into this giant pool of people that compete against each other, cooperate against each other. There's a tension, there's a love, and you figure out how to make it all work as a big pool of diverse kind of backgrounds. Nobody is truly from America except Native Americans, but even then, there's a diversity in that history. So it's an incredible country in its welcoming of immigrants and opportunities it provides for people with a dream and that are willing to work hard. So I'm deeply thankful for this country, for the United States of America. I know I often joke around about being Russian, but it's more just wit and humor. And I am, in terms of my roots, Russian. But if I look in the mirror, and if we look at who I truly am, I'm an American. I always will be American, and I love this country and the opportunities it's given me. And I'm deeply grateful for it. All right, that was 16 miles, 4 sessions, 8 more to go. I'm getting in a little bit of a zone, feeling good, getting a lot done. There's an interesting urgency to everything, which I kind of enjoy. I'm actually getting a lot of work done. Even the napping has an urgency to it. I shut off, turn back on, have a lot of energy. The only thing I screwed up in is eating a little too much at 3 a.m. last night. But other than that, feeling pretty good. Still a little bit fast, still a little bit soft, but just getting out there on the road. Yeah, it's a little cold, it's a little windy, but yeah, it feels good. Feels good. I'm glad I did it. It's a fun way to throw a wrench into the whole thing of life to make you appreciate everything and to be grateful for everything. So, what is this? Number four on the list of things I'm grateful for, man, is friendship in general. Like I said, in Russia is when I first developed really close friendships, but really when I became, it's silly to say, but when I became a man was in America, in going to high school, middle school and high school here, college, and meeting some really, really close friends, especially in the Chicago suburbs in Naperville. A really close friend of mine, Matt, I really formed a close, lifelong bond with him and with other folks here, with his family. And, we don't often, these days we don't even often talk that much together, but there's still, anytime we see each other, it's like we never spent an hour away. So, Matt and others have taught me the value of friendship. I spent so much time working, I spent so much time pursuing my passions, but behind it all is sort of a love for other human beings, and friendship is at the core of that. Of course, I also want a family and friendship with a girl, with a wife, with my kids. Yeah. But I see it all as kind of part of the same big picture, and it all started in middle school, meeting that weird looking Iranian kid, Matt, that we just instantly connected. Different worlds, different backgrounds, different histories, different music preferences. The guy likes Biohazard and like Pantera, heavy metal. I like it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But I'm more of a classic rock kind of guy. And we together fell in love with music, playing guitar, sports, football, soccer, tennis, chess, everything. Talking about the biggest philosophical questions about the universe and things like that. And it's always a pleasure to see him. And I'm deeply grateful for having the chance to meet him, to meet others in Naperville, Alan P, Jim, Jota, the countless people that have changed the direction of my life, have affected me, have shown me what friendship is all about. So I'm deeply grateful for that. Never forget it. They're always family. All right, let's go do some jiu-jitsu.
This is Sean Fisher, black belt, instructor, philosopher, warrior. So we're gonna train around a little bit.
All right, I think that's 5 sessions now, although I'm starting to lose track a little bit. It was a fun time. That's a little break from the running. I felt remarkably good for some reason. Makes me feel like this is the calm before the storm. But so 16 miles, a jiu-jitsu session. Just a few more miles to go. It should be fun. So, since I did jiu-jitsu, did a little bit of no-gi grappling, this is a good time to say that I'm grateful for all the people that I met on the mat. I forgot who said it, but it's true that the mat is one of the only places in this world that's deeply honest. You can't hide from the truth in combat sports in general. When it's one on one and it's just you and the opponent, and you're constantly, especially in the grappling sports, where you can go 100% and get choked and threatened of murder over and over and over again with some of your closest friends. I mean, it's an incredible kind of experience that's deeply humbling that I hope to be doing for the rest of my life. I see it extremely valuable for your intellectual curiosity and growth to be humble. throughout no matter what you achieve in life. To be humble is, to me, is essential for happiness and for just continuous growth. But your brain can get lazy. You can start getting full of yourself. So I think jujitsu, for me at least, especially as my body gets softer and get older and don't have as much time to train, jujitsu is a great place to be humbled, where you can train with a young blue belt that'll kick your butt and submit you over and over, and it kind of reminds you that you might be good at like programming or something like that, or you might be good in the space of science and so on, but somehow being tapped by a 20-year-old reminds you, one, that you're mortal, and two, that you're not as special as you think. You're not such a big shot. And I think that's a really powerful thing. I think that's probably an essential element of why I know I talk about looking up to Joe, maybe a little too much, but I do in this regard that he is truly everything he's accomplished in terms of both wealth and success and comedy and so on. He's still humble. I think jiu-jitsu is a crucial part of that. It is for me. So I'm really grateful for having discovered, for having sort of come across this sport first through judo. Grateful to the folks at Philadelphia Judo for revealing to me the beauty of this art, of the gentle art of judo. And I'm really grateful to Balance Studios in Philadelphia for teaching me Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, taking me from white belt to black belt. I'm really grateful for all the people I've met in the grappling arts and Jiu Jitsu and martial arts in general. I'm grateful for my current gym, Sean Fisher, John Clark, and all the people that train there. There's something about them that's both deeply philosophical. I think something about jiu-jitsu attracts or encourages the development of intellectual kind of chess-like puzzle-solving curiosity that creates really interesting people from all different kinds of backgrounds, and also the toughness. Like I said, being tapped kind of sharpens your mind to understand that you're not special, and because you're not special, your approach to life has this kind of humble curiosity, which makes you a really interesting person to talk with, to be friends with, to just have a deep conversation with, to have some beers with. So from Broadway Jiu Jitsu here in Boston to all the way back to Philly with Balance Studios and all the people I've gotten to meet, I'm deeply grateful for them. I hope I've been, for the most part, injury free my whole life in martial arts. Banged up here and there, but nothing broken, nothing torn. I hope, I really hope that stays the same. If it doesn't, so what? I'll still persevere, but I do hope to be doing jiu-jitsu for the rest of my life. It's beautiful, it's a humbling journey that I'm deeply grateful for. All right, I think that was 20 miles, but I'm not sure. I'm kind of losing track and also not really worrying about the full span of it, but instead focusing on the next step. It's getting a little bit tough. After doing jiu-jitsu, your body gets banged up a little bit, so you get to feel the run a little bit, but not even just physically. You get to feel the duration of it mentally, which kind of starts wearing on you. You start to the sleep, kind of the whole weight of it, because I've also been working while doing this in the span in the times between the runs. This is tough. This is there's the ups and downs, and I've been feeling pretty good, but come down pretty hard at this point. And I took a shower before filming this. Just really doing what I would say filming is probably the hardest part. Having to face the camera, having to reveal these parts of myself. Hopefully, it's of value to somebody to be fragile in this way. I knew this was going to get tough. It might get even a lot tougher. I'm ready for it. Whatever it brings. So far, so good physically. So there's a little bit of shin splints, a little bit of ankle pain. I'm trying to make sure I keep a slow pace. I'm doing 9-minute miles kind of pace to really make sure that no injuries get aggravated. I mean, we're starting to go into a territory I haven't been before in terms of distance, in terms of mind. So let's see. This is going to be fun. It's a fun test. It might be kind of silly to say, but I'm really grateful for books, for having the opportunity from an early age to explore the minds and the thinking and the ideas of others. through Camus, Hesse. So I would say most the 20th century existential philosophers and writers were, for me, early on really influential. For me, at least, they broke me out of the pursuits of everyday life that we're born with, the sort of the focusing, the egotistical view of life where you just kind of focus on the task at hand, and the existential way of thought, counterintuitively perhaps, got me to think about the bigger picture of life, got me to think about my own mortality, about the the meaning of life in general. So Camus, Albert Camus, Hermann Hesse, Nietzsche, of course, Friedrich Nietzsche, Dostoevsky, Kafka, Franz Kafka, hugely influential for me. Hemingway, George Orwell, Animal Farm is one of my favorite books. I don't know why, just love it. For me, I would spend months, I read slowly, and I would spend months on a particular book and really take it in. It was kind of a friendship with both the author and the ideas in that. I mean, with Hermann Hesse, Glassby Game, Siddhartha, Damien, Steppenwolf, like all of these books, I guess I could say I dated them. I was like a girlfriend for a few months, and some of them I'm still seeing on the side every once in a while. Yeah, and I remember moments when there's reading these individual books and just coming to a point in the book where it was like a transformative moment. I would sit back and think about how incredible it is to be here, to be in my skin, to be alive, and also how terrifying it is that this whole thing ends. Just mortality. Speaking of which, Ernest Becker, who denied death. So the more modern philosophers and thinkers and psychologists, nonfiction and fiction, and just a tremendous effect on me. If I were to regret anything, I think it has to do with my Soviet upbringing. Is I never really got into science fiction, so I've really it seemed like, to my mind, it seemed to me more profound and more important to study World War I and World War II, and the subtle experiences of everyday life that Camus and Hesse and Dostoevsky describe, as opposed to having to create a fantasy world. I always thought the fantasy world is a kind of unneeded spice added to the picture that's already fascinating. And not fairly so, I felt this way, because I can see now there's a lot of profound philosophical and dramatic work that's done in science fiction. But one of my goals is to find the time to read more science fiction. So if there's good recommendations, certainly the Foundation series. I need to read Snow Crash, Dune, all of these books I need to read that that have not been part of my childhood, but really should be part of my extended childhood because I still haven't grown up. Okay, talked for way too long, but it feels good to talk, maybe to escape from the running. I look forward to the challenge of the 11 p.m. run, of the 3 a.m. run, and I think will be the hardest is waking up for the 7 a.m. and doing that run, and then a full day after that. This is fun. I'm glad I'm doing it. It's a good test of mind. Let's go. All right, 24 miles done, just past the halfway point, 11 p.m. run. I'm feeling okay. Dreading going through the night a little bit, but injury wise, a little bit of shin splints, a little bit of aches here and there, hamstring. From Jiu Jitsu is a little bit roughed up, but I'm going to be all right. It's just mental at this point, which is great. This is exactly what I wanted. A test of mind versus a test of aches and pains and injuries and stuff like that. Something I'm grateful for. It might be ridiculous to say, but because of my love for artificial intelligence, I'm grateful for the big community, the shoulders of giants I get to stand on, from the 50s to the 60s, the 70s and 80s, the development of different branches of computer science in general, mathematics, and all the things that are interconnected, neuroscience to physics to neurobiology to psychology, of course, and all of those things are interconnected in my work, in my view of artificial intelligence. I'm deeply grateful for all those brilliant researchers and just allowing, and of course, computer programming, just ability and robotics, being able to build that stuff. I mean, there's just been, I guess it always feels like that when when you're at the cutting edge that you're born just at the right time. But it for me, it really does feel like I've been born just at the right time to do truly big breakthroughs in the field of artificial intelligence. And initially, when the dream was born for me, which is to understand the mind, I feel like the kind of developments that are happening now, the kind of tools that are available to for breakthroughs, both in the understanding and the engineering space, is just amazing. I'm really grateful for that. Dreading a little bit, not looking forward to the night running, but it is what it is. Got to get it done. Let's go. All right. I don't really feel like recording this video, but got to do what you got to do. I just ran a 3 a.m. run. I think that's 28 miles. Then I spent maybe an hour at a Dunkin' Donuts drinking coffee, continuing listening to an audiobook about rocket fuel. I mean, in some sense, I was a little bit delirious, just happy. I'm truly happy, but sort of don't want to be talking right now. I don't want to be recording videos. Just want to jump in the shower and get some sleep and get back to work. So, things I'm thankful for, maybe kind of silly to say, but just my academic journey in general has revealed a lot to me, and the ups and downs of it, I'm really thankful for. From the BSMS PhD that I got in computer science, computer engineering, and focusing on machine learning and artificial intelligence. So, getting exposure to the exciting full space from theoretical computer science to math to physics, to quantum mechanics, to classical mechanics, to even literature. Took a James Joyce course. I mean, just going to college, I love learning, and then getting an opportunity to do research. One of the best places in the world in industry is at Google on machine learning. Especially earlier days of deep learning, was really exciting, and of course then to MIT, to much less sunnier Boston, but brilliant people from all walks of life. The close knit colleagues, the friends I've developed here, and more distant, from physics to mathematics to brain and cognitive sciences and neuroscience to the business side of Sloan to psychology. I've gotten to experience that. I've grown a lot through that, just having the opportunity to be here. And that opportunity also gave me even the bigger gift to realize the dreams I've had always, and the dreams that burns now, of having a large scale impact, of working in large teams collaboratively on one big moonshot project, is something it's very difficult to do in the academic setting. And so it took me to go to MIT to understand that that's not the right place for me to realize the dream I have. And so all of that is a beautiful gift. I couldn't ask it any other way. I'm really grateful for it. Grateful for all the friends I had. Grateful for the connections I still have at MIT, and perhaps forever will be connected to MIT and the broader academic community. It's a real gift that I'm thankful for. Okay, on to the next few miles. Just a few left. I don't know how many more. I'm not even letting myself think about it. But I'm excited to get it done. I said I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done. Let's go. Okay, I'm going to try to make this quick. Not feeling great. That was 32 miles. It's getting rough. I had to actually walk a little bit of that. The thing I'm grateful for, sounds funny to say, but the community of people on the internet, supporters in general, people on Patreon, people who have had discussion through email, through social networks. Also, might be funny to say, but I'm really grateful to the people the companies, and actually the people behind those companies that sponsor the podcast. I think I didn't take on sponsors for a while, but there was a point where I really literally needed money to for food and shelter and so on. So I thought that monetization might not get in the way of the deep conversation. That's why I really wanted to just do it in the beginning. And I connect with the company Cash App, and they decided to sponsor the podcast. They took they made it really easy. They took a risk on me, I guess. A guy named Naveed, especially. So just and there's a bunch of there's really good people, and I was kind of surprised how pleasant and fulfilling the experience could be to sort of tell others to use a thing that I already use. And the funny thing about Cash App is because they sponsored, I mean, it kind of opened up this floodgate of, I don't know if it's because of them, but, or just the general growth of the podcast, but the floodgate of other people, the ones that sponsor the podcast, open up and allows me to completely freely choose. And my hands are totally not tied. I don't have to be sponsored by Cash App at all. Everybody else, ExpressVPN, incredible thing I've used for a long time. Masterclass, this place where you can watch videos from the most brilliant people in their field. Chris Hadfield talking about how rockets work is just incredible. And the fact that they would want to support the podcast is so cool. And there's like many others that I could choose from. So I'm really grateful for that support too. Just in general, it allows me to survive doing something I love, which is these deep conversations in podcast form while I work on the main thing that is my dream, the startup that I'm working on. So I'm deeply grateful for that, for the financial, for the emotional, the psychological, mental, the physical support, all kinds of support, just people reaching out and being kind, giving me strength. I, I deeply appreciate that. I'm sorry if I look like a mess. These videos are really tough to record. I really don't want to record them. I am really struggling to even finish this freaking thing. I'm not sure I should be recording myself in this state, but hopefully it's valuable to somebody to see the fragility. For some runners, this might not be this might be just hard, but not too hard. But for me, not a runner. This is rough. But I said I'm going to finish. I have to finish. Let's go. All right. I think 36 miles down, 11 a.m. session, and 4 cups of coffee afterwards, like little cups with actually cappuccino from a cappuccino machine that I found, free coffee, and I couldn't stop. And I'm feeling weirdly energetic. So body's feeling all right. I'm just not letting my mind listen to the body. There's no injuries. That's a really important thing. The shin splints, hamstring from Jiu Jitsu is just, it's there. It's there. It's like a little reminder that I'm still alive. But it's also affecting my pace. I'm saying I slid from maybe a 9-minute mile pace to a 10-minute mile pace. So just focusing on taking one step at a time, feeling all right. A little bit of a headache. I think it's a salt issue that I need to get some more sodium in, whatever they're called, electrolytes, whatever. So people have been asking what I'm eating. I'm eating just meat. Same thing I always eat. Feeling good overall, energy wise. As I mentioned before, people made fun of me, but I eat low carb. When I travel, I eat McDonald's. Even here, I eat McDonald's, just the beef patties. Yesterday made the giant mistake because my mind, for some reason, wanted an oven roasted chicken from a grocery store. $6, so it's cheap, and it always looks delicious when it's right there. So I took it home. Sounds weird to say. It's like a little Thanksgiving dinner, and I was planning to eat maybe a quarter or half. I end up eating the whole thing, so I regretted that. And in general, I've been just feeling a little bit too full. I've been overeating, which is not good when you're running every 4 miles. It's interesting. I think because I only eat once a day or twice a day at most, this adjustment was necessary to me. And my body, my mind is refusing to make the adjustment. So I've just been overeating. So for people wondering if I'm losing weight, I probably gain weight from this whole challenge just because I've just been eating and drinking tons of coffee. And who cares? I'm not doing this to lose weight. I don't care how much I weigh. I care how I feel. And in general, I run and the way I eat is because I want to feel good. And so eating meat has made me feel really good. I don't care what I look like. I care that I feel good, and it made me feel good, helped me focus the mind, and so on. I wanted to talk about diet a little bit because for some weird reason I'm feeling really good right now. So it's ups and downs. That's the amazing thing about life is if you take just one step at a time, you can feel horrible. I think the 7 a.m. run, I just felt horrible, and I can for this one, I felt pretty good. So if you take one step at a time, the suffering will end, and the good times will come. And I'm feeling good right now. Next run will probably be the hardest one. 3 p.m. is because it's like the body's right now. I really just want to rest, and there's no glory in finishing the 11th session, right? There's glory finishing the whole thing. So, but it's just one step at a time, one step at a time. Uh, Something I'm grateful for. I've been doing a podcast called Artificial Intelligence. Maybe you listen. It's one of the things I'm grateful for is how many people, for no reason whatsoever, said yes, they'll do it, and they've been really kind and generous with their time, with their mind, opening up their mind to my style of questioning, to my attempts and growth and learning of how to question, how to have conversations with some of the busiest. So basically, my whole strategy has been ask silly, profound questions of the busiest engineers in the world. I mean, the fact that Elon Musk twice uh, carved out time from his day to have a conversation with me about artificial intelligence, consciousness, the human brain, and autonomous vehicles is incredible. And everybody else, Don Knuth, I'm so deeply grateful for people I've looked up to like Don. I mean, Don offered me hot dogs after the conversation. Right? I could die happy now. Don Knuth offered me. I had a long, amazing conversation, welcomed me into his home, and offered me hot dogs afterward to go out for hot dogs. I mean, how freaking amazing is that? So I'm so grateful for Eric Schmidt, Eric Weinstein, uh, the Sean Carroll, the physicists, so the physicists, mathematicians, computer scientists, for neuroscientists, philosophers, historians. I mean, everybody has kindly sat down and said yes at first, sat down and just listened. The way, when you become famous, like many of the folks I've spoken with, it's so rewarding to see that they still truly listen to the human. Most of them, who am I? I'm just some kid sitting before them. And the fact that they would sort of listen to me and really look into my eyes and like wonder what is this kid about and really genuinely like human to human be able to connect throughout the busyness, the chaos of their day. That made me so happy about the human race that no matter where you are, no matter how small or big you are, we can still connect on a human level. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity to learn that and for the opportunity to share that with the world and with the great community of people through the podcast medium, which I think is the one of the exciting mediums of the future for long form conversation. I would say it was started with Joe Rogan really brought to life that long form 2, 3, 4 hour conversations. There's a hunger for them. He made me realize that, and the fact that there's a platform for it, super grateful for. So, all right, back to running. Clearly, I'm feeling weirdly good. It's very strange. Probably gonna do some work now. Get a little bit of work done. Get back on the road. Finish this thing. Refuse to quit. I said I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it. Looking forward to the last few miles. Let's go. All right, I'm going to keep this short. I did 40 miles, took a shower. I did swap out one of the sessions for a Jiu Jitsu session, but I decided I'm going to stay true to the 48 hour, 48-mile challenge. And I'm going to try for, not going to try, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do 8 miles, 8-mile run at 7 p.m. My body's just exhausted, muscle-wise, but there's no injuries, period. That's it. Nothing else to say. It's just the mind now. Beautiful test. I'm really glad I did it. There's a lot to think about, a lot to learn from. I'll remember this experience for a long time. I'm not so sure. I'm glad I did the video. I still have to watch it, maybe edit it down. There's way too much talking, but maybe this kind of sharing is useful for people. I'm really grateful for the hardship that my life has presented. I had a lot of ways in which I've been tested throughout my life, and I'm really fortunate for that. And some of them, many of them, especially recently, have been self-imposed in me choosing certain decisions in my career to really challenge myself in every kind of way. And also tests like this, which are really fun little divergences in life into a totally different direction. I'm grateful for people who loved me back, actually, but wanted nothing more for me but to be comfortable and to be mediocre. One of the things, for some reason, there's a fire in me that refuses to be mediocre. And so when everybody tells me, even my parents or people who love me, to slow down, to take it easy, to sort of relax, to take, what is it? Somebody in the internet says, hot bath with some soap and, I don't know. I'm sure rubber duckies will be involved. I don't do hot baths and I don't do mediocrity. So whenever people tell me that, I hear it and it's a beautiful thing because I feel the love in that, but I also refuse to give in to that kind of advice to be comfortable. I enjoy the richness, the deep beauty of every moment. So I'm grateful for that, but I'm also endlessly uh, unsatisfied with not realizing the potential that I believe I have. So I really have a belief, a dream that I'm driving towards, not comparing myself to others. I don't care what success, that if I'm famous or my name attached to it, or if I'm successful under any kind of dimension that this world presents to itself, but I have a dream and I want to realize that dream, and that the opportunity to take that on, to take the full challenge of that, to have the will and the dragon they have to defeat to go to the castle, princess or not. Who cares about the princess? uh, it's about the dragon, and then maybe the princess can help me slay the dragon too. But I'm grateful for that opportunity, for that hardship, and I'm looking forward to 7 p.m. to crush that 8 miles and enjoy a nice hot cup of coffee, maybe a steak. Let's go. All right, here we are. It's hard to believe, but it's 48 miles down, 0 to go. Some people kind of look to the next thing right away. To me, I really enjoy these moments. I purposely routed out so it's a 10-mile route, so I get to walk now for a couple miles. Legs are definitely shot, but I feel good mentally. It's probably the hardest thing that I've ever done physically. I'm feeling really good now, but I would say sessions 7, 8, and 9, and maybe 10 was really rough mentally. I had to kind of suck it up and not to think about it. But if I had to take any kind of lessons from this, is if you really take one step at a time, you can accomplish a lot. So I really let my mind sort of meditate on the moment, really focus on the moment, take it one step at a time, and not think about the future, not plan for the future, and got the job done. As silly as it is to say, I'm really grateful to be alive. Really am dreading the whole fact that it ends eventually, but while it lasts, I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it. And I'm glad I did this. It's been rough at times, mentally, physically, but if anyone gets an opportunity to test themselves in this kind of different kind of way, I highly recommend it. Big thank you to David Goggins for challenging the world and for letting me in on the challenge by seeing it on Instagram, wherever the heck I saw it. For everyone out there that's actually listened to this, I hope there's some value to it. Keep pushing your self to whatever your limit is, intellectually, physically, and most importantly, keep putting love out there in the world. I love you all. Keep grinding. Let's see what the next challenge holds. Let's see what the next exciting opportunity that life brings at us.